XYZ. Who do you call? You know,
Yep.
is the port open? What does error 123B5A mean?
Right. That means go back to bed.
Yeah, exactly. Snooze button.
So yeah, you got to have things well documented. Now, we'll definitely do this for if we get called. We definitely do it.
But the takeaway is make it worth your while.
It's got to be worth. I'm not going to agree in my particular company. I'm not going to agree to any on-call situation on nights and weekends. We're not going to do it. That's really, to be honest, what the IT staff is for.
No, and I agree.
But we definitely will be back up if you need it. It's just a matter of if we would probably go into it, evaluate the network if it's a new customer, evaluate the network, evaluate what he knows, and see if it's even going to fit. Because we're not going to try and be a backup IT support to someone who we think is doing things incorrectly. We wouldn't put ourselves in that situation. If everything looked fine and the guy seems intelligent, knows what he's doing, he just is overworked or wants a vacation once in a while, fine, we'll be back up as long as things are documented.
Sure.
So,
alrighty. We have a message from Steve Cherubino that he asked me to play real quick, and it's a little bit long at 7 minutes, but just go ahead and bear with us while you sip your coffee or whatever you're drinking at the moment. And Matt, you probably can't hear this, but I'm not sure if you can or not. And here we go.
Nuts. This is going to be a short show, and it's basically just going to be an announcement from me. For those of you who don't know me by now, I don't introduce myself often, actually, so some of you might not. My name is Steve Cherubino, and I'm the host of Podnutz and Podnutz Daily. I'm the founder of the network. We started doing podcasts about 4 years ago, and it's been a lot of fun. It started out about computer repair, and that's what it was all about. As some of you might or might not know, I know a few of you know, I have actually not been in the computer repair business for 2 years now. And when I started the network, I was very passionate about the subject. I had lots to talk about in the subject. But since selling my shop, month by month, year by year, I've had less to contribute to the actual shows. And I don't think that's a great way to operate a podcast. Now, luckily, you guys have come on the show. Those of you who have shops or are in the computer repair business, I've come on the show and given great tips and advice. And I really think we've helped a lot of people along the way. In fact, I know this because I get emails stating that fact, that they enjoy the shows. It helped them get the courage to start their own computer repair business. And that, to me, is a fantastic reward for what we're doing here. So we should all give ourselves a pat on the back. Now, why am I making an announcement? Well, Podnutz was my baby back in the day. I couldn't wait to come home and do another podcast. It was just a blast, and I got to watch this network grow from a single show with a single listener to what it is now with an incredible community of people that I call my friends, forums that are just bustling with people giving out information and helping each other, and we talk to each other on all the social networks. It's just a really cool thing that was built. Now, with all that stuff and everything I've mentioned so far, I want Podnutz to continue to expand and help as many people as absolutely possible with their life, with their computer repair business, however we can help. But the problem is I am not the passionate computer repair business owner that I used to be. And I know a lot of you out there are. So what I think needs to happen is Podnutz needs to have a new leader, somebody who has the passion that I did when I started this network. And that's what this announcement is about. Now, this might seem shocking, and you guys are probably wondering why I'm doing this publicly, but hear me out. As of right now, I'm putting the Podnutz network up for sale, minus the Android App Addicts and Linux for the Rest of Us podcast, which I will continue to do and will probably put on their own websites. But everything else, I want to turn it over. And I want to turn it over to somebody who wants to expand it and wants to put energy and time into it and make it better than I ever did. That's my goal. The reason I'm announcing this on a podcast to you guys is because I cannot think of a better place to find somebody to fit that bill than the listeners of these shows. Sure, I could go asking colleagues and associates that I know that might not have any idea how to podcast or have any interest in it or have no idea what the shows are about. But I don't think it would do the network justice. I want to have it continue to be run by somebody who's going to breathe life into it and make it bigger and better than ever. And that's why I'm doing this publicly, and I'm putting it out to you guys. So if there's anyone out there interested in the Podnutz network and continuing it into the future, I want you to email me. Email me at mail@podnutz.com. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Give me some idea who you are. Let me know what your intentions are, and we will negotiate. Now, I did not create this show to cause alarm, upset people, unsettle things. This isn't a publicity stunt. This is exactly what I said in the beginning. Podnutz is a network that is super helpful to people, and a lot of people enjoy listening to these shows. It helps them with their life. It gets them through the day. I'm looking for someone to continue doing that, and someone who's going to love getting behind the mic, talking to people, discussing computer repair, and helping people out there with their own businesses. I'm still going to be around. I'm still going to be part of the community. I'm still going to do Android App Addicts and Linux for the rest of us. But the computer repair shows, Podnutz, Podnutz Daily, Podnutz Pro, My Hard Drive Died, which can definitely be a revived show. These are all shows that are centered around computer repair, and I can't do those shows justice anymore. So I hope all of you understand. And for those of you asking, Steve, now what are you going to do next? Well, computer repair was never my true passion from the beginning. Ever since I was a kid, I wanted to be in the music industry. And I'm finally throwing caution to the wind, and I'm just going to go for it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be working in the music industry somewhere. Don't know exactly where yet, but that's what I'm going for. And that's my true passion. And that's what's actually going to make me happy. So if that is an interest of any of yours, this is what's going to make Steve happy. But I want to make everybody else happy and continue this network. I want to thank everyone right now who has contributed to Podnutz for making the network what it is. This network is something I never imagined could bring so much joy and could bring so many people together and create a group of friends out of nowhere. And you all helped contribute to that and do that. And it's really, really appreciated. That is the biggest joy I have gotten out of Podnutz, is this community. So thank all of you who have contributed to the network. It's going to continue. Again, do not worry. Don't be sad. We're going to make this network bigger and better than ever. That is my true intention, and I plan on making that happen. I think I've said enough. Again, email me if you're interested, if you're serious, if you think that you want to take this on and carry on the torch. You're the guy I'm looking for. Now, this is a network that I've built up over several years, and I've put blood, sweat, and tears into making it the best that I could. And as a result, Podnutz has great branding. It's out there. It's an established, trusted brand. There's lots of listeners. There's lots of opportunity. It's got a great community. So the network has value. To put this in perspective, as far as price, expect to pay, if you're interested in the network, the price of a nice car. Again, sorry for the short show. I know it's just an announcement. We're going to continue to do shows. We're going to continue to do Podnutz Daily. I don't know exactly when, but we'll continue running that show. And we'll be doing the other shows as well. So nothing's really going to change. You're not going to see any stops or halts, anything more than usual. And we're going to try to make this transition as smooth as possible and take Podnutz to the next level. So thanks for listening to this show. I hope to hear from some of you guys soon. And we will do this. So thanks, guys. Talk to you next show.
All right, then. That was a message from Steve Cherubino. So you heard what the man said. He's has some plans, but we can tell you that Podnutz Pro will still be here and carry on unless we get sent to the minors at AAA. Or maybe we'll be hanging out with the Saints head coach. But hey, I know I had to do it. I had to. Big old Saints fan. But let's carry on. So we have another email here. It's from Jeff. All right.
Different Jeff.
Yeah, a different Jeff. Yeah, I just verified. There's more than one Jeff. What is the experience like for the employees of a small business when the server goes down? and they are without it for a couple of days, like in episode 53. I asked because the server runs at a minimum domain services, DNS, DHCP, and maybe has the user's folders redirected to it. I know the workstations can log in with cached credentials, but without DNS, they can't resolve local or internet addresses or even get an IP if their lease is up. Plus, they wouldn't even be able to access the documents if folders have been redirected. Big enterprises can have multiple redundant servers, but small business is only going to have the one server. So when they are without the server for a couple of days, everyone just sitting around playing solitaire all day long. Also, want to say I love the show and thank you for taking the time to do this show with your busy and sometimes overloaded schedule. All right, Matt.
So, what do? They cry, they moan, they complain. They call you every 5 minutes asking for an update on the server.
Mm-hmm.
But they are down. Well, they're not completely down. If I know I'm taking their server and it'll be gone for a little while, I'll set the router up to do DHCP so they can get online. That's of little comfort because you're right, they can't access their files, they can't access anything basically because their server's gone.
Mm-hmm.
They can't get online and normally infect themselves with viruses because they're so bored. It doesn't happen often. Now, of course, when you're doing a network design or server design for a small company, you can give them the option of redundant servers or a second server for backup, but rarely will a small business go with a second server. So, yeah, they're down, and they bug you. They bug you all day long. Is the server ready? And I want to tell them, yes, it was ready 3 hours ago. I just decided to keep it here for longer for observation.
No, and you are right. In a bigger environment, you have redundant servers, redundant even ISPs. With a small business, and I've partaken, and I've been the IT guy for a small business for a couple of them, and I've seen it where they send people home, where you get a longer lunch. Some people have a longer coffee break. Unfortunately, like Matt said, pointing the DNS to the router so that they can get on the internet, not much they can do because they're there to work, and if their production system is not up, what can you do? There's no real easy answer, I guess. It all depends on the owner of that company and what they want to do.
Yeah. Smaller businesses will take the time to clean up their offices, organize. Like when we had the server for a day, they decided to clean up their offices.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was a cleanup party.
Cleanup party. All right. The one that...
Yeah. Even like the one Jeff asked about earlier, 75 to 100 users, even they should have 2 servers for Active Directory. They shouldn't have one. A company that large, if they're down, I'm sure it's a bigger deal for at least the owners because they're losing a lot of money. Smaller businesses, 10, 15 users, they're not losing that much money. They can still answer their phones. They can still take messages. But yeah, they're down. Their computers are down.
And sometimes it's not anything of you're doing. Like your ISP link goes down. Some car hits a pole down the line and knocks off, the internet. It happens. Your local electrical here is Tico, but if the power's out, the power's out. Sure, if you have a UPS is okay, you're great for 10 or 15 minutes, but the power's out,
Right.
So
and it's the worst thing when you have to take a server. And I can tell you, we've only had to take a handful of servers over the years. It's uncommon, but when you tell them, when you give them the news, I have to take it. It's like you're telling them, I have to take your children with me.
Mm-hmm.
How long will be gone? And of course, you have to have an answer for this. And the answer is, well, I can't. There's no way to give you an accurate answer to that question. Anything I can give you would be a guess. I can guess if things go well, I'll have it back at this time, whatever you think. But there's no accurate way to know.
No, and like I said,
I was offline. I really didn't know what was wrong with it. I don't know if the RAID controller was out. I don't know if the drives were recoverable. I don't know anything. And when they asked me how long we have it, I said, I can't answer that right now.
I wouldn't
want to
use
have that